The RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, kind people, what's going on? You're checking out an all-new The RCWR Show. Lee Sanders here. It is Sunday night of February 21st, 2021. Couple of minutes removed from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Wow, is all I have to say. I just cannot believe the trigger that was pulled on this fucking pay-per-view tonight. I am just totally wow. Is all I have to say. I definitely want to make sense out of everything that we just saw come about from this pay-per-view, and I know there are a lot of you guys that saw the pay-per-view. You definitely want to let your voices be heard as well. Please let your voices be heard. Definitely want to know what you had thought about the pay-per-view overall, whether you enjoyed it overall or you thought it sucked, or maybe it was just one key thing that you enjoyed the most from the pay-per-view. I want to know what you thought about it, so definitely sound off and let me know what's going on with you. We're streaming on multiple platforms tonight. We got the return of Facebook. We finally brought Facebook back into play, so shout out to those that's checking this out via Facebook Live. We're also streaming on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. I don't really think we need to be doing a poll tonight. I think just the fact that we have a lot of people, I bet you it's going to be a combination of a lot of people want to just sound off overall what they thought about the pay-per-view, and then we're going to have those that did not see the pay-per-view, but maybe read the results, heard what happened, heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who, and they want to sound off. I think this is probably going to be one of our most interactive post shows. And as you can see for this special occasion, I got y'all a nice little chat window box down below. You kind of know this, long-time listeners, we switched it up over here with regards to the layout that we usually have, especially when it comes to our pay-per-views. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. But I thought it'd be kind of cool that more comments that come in, you guys can kind of see something like that. So we'll try it out tonight, see how it goes and everything. If it is a success, we'll definitely continue it on for future shows. But you are not being trolled right now. For those of you that are maybe reading the title of this episode live and you're going, wait, what? You're not being trolled right now. It actually happened. And there's no other way that we can really start the show than by talking about the fact that The Miz is now the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He is now a two-time WWE Champion. You know, I know I shouldn't be sitting here tonight in front of you guys and say shocked. I know I shouldn't be saying that. But there's a little part of me that is shocked. Now, let me try to explain to you where I'm coming from and if it even makes sense, right? I remember being in this very chair several weeks back, saying to you guys, particularly when Miz was given back in storyline the Money in the Bank briefcase, I said to you guys, the fact that this has happened, without a shadow of doubt, Miz is going to become the WWE Champion. If you all recall, I definitely said that, and I stressed that. And my only concern at that point was, how much longer does Miz have to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase? Was this going to be a case where he was essentially what's the right word I'm looking for? We know Otis had the Money in the Bank briefcase. What I was most puzzled by was, okay, well, seeing as how Otis was the title briefcase holder originally, and now Miz has the briefcase, has time reset for the Miz? Does Miz have officially a whole year to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase? Or No, he doesn't have a full year having won it from Otis. He has X amount of months remaining to cash it in before it. That was my whole thing. And see, you can't help but wonder if once that briefcase was cashed in the first time, and then we had that weird technicality stuff, you could almost kind of, I just think about the little things like that. I know most of you guys don't think about that, but I think about the little things like that. So that's kind of what was going on in my mind. But once I saw in storyline, Miz got the Money in the Bank briefcase back, I said, okay, he's got the briefcase back. There's no way he's going to strike out twice, because in storyline, if this guy is going to strike out twice with this Money in the Bank briefcase opportunity, then what really is the point in giving him this Money in the Bank briefcase a second go round? Like, that just, it doesn't make sense, really. So remember, I'm sure you longtime listeners recall me saying all of those points. But to see the way things played out tonight, I don't know. And I guess I'd have to ask you guys as well. Seeing what we saw tonight, for me, perfect case scenario, I felt always that Drew McIntyre was going to go into WrestleMania. I felt he was going to come out successfully defending his WWE Championship. But then the question becomes, okay, well, does Miz screw him that very same night? Or is it going to be the Raw after Mania? Or maybe a week after WrestleMania that Miz screws McIntyre? I was kind of looking at one of those scenarios, but to see that it's Drew McIntyre losing the championship tonight to Miz, I mean, you just, it was great booking when you really stop and think about it. And most importantly, you just don't see it coming. I gotta give WWE a lot of props. I actually have to commend them, because when you really kind of stop and think about it, they've essentially broken tradition, so to speak. Walk with me for just a hot minute. They broke tradition from the standpoint of, we have been so accustomed to seeing a cash in by WrestleMania, at WrestleMania, after WrestleMania. We've never been in a position quite like this where you've got not one, but two dominating faces for the WWE product in Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. You go, okay, all right, these are our two guys. All right, it is what it is. And what? We're like 45 days away from WrestleMania. And we get such a major shakeup like what we got this go round. Think about it. Marinate on that for just a little bit. It's not like, oh, well, tonight WWE was competing with the NFL Super Bowl. No, none of that shit going on. It wasn't like WWE was competing with the NBA and NBA playoffs or NBA finals. No, nothing of that nature going on. Clean slate as far as entertainment tonight. Ain't no Walking Dead back yet. Yeah, if you're lucky, you got yourself a new Batwoman on the CW, but I doubt there's going to be a boatload of fans in hysteria. Batwoman! Batwoman! So, clean, quiet night of TV tonight. And yet, WWE pulled what I think was an essential trigger. And I got to tell you, I mean, my God. What makes sense to me, let's be honest, the Raw ratings, okay, you know, people say, oh, you know, ratings don't matter, ratings don't matter, ratings don't matter. If ratings did not matter, if those quarter ratings did not matter, then as I've always said for years on this show, a lot of some of your favorite programs would still be on the air today. One of my all-time favorite shows of all time, I always point this out, Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula, that would still be on the air today, or it would definitely would have lasted a lot longer than the measly 5 seasons that it ran. Brimstone with Peter Horton from 30 something and John Glover. that would have lasted longer than one season. Just think back to all of your favorite hit TV shows. Look, let's be more recent. For those of you that maybe didn't even watch any of those shows. Black Lightning. If ratings did not matter, Black Lightning would not have been canceled. Now, luckily, this 4th season that is already underway right now for Black Lightning, when the news was announced that Black Lightning was only going to be able to come back for one more season, as one more season had been ordered by the CW, the writers, producers, everybody involved with that series, they were able to map out successfully, okay, this is how we want this 4th season to end. So at least they're able to put a nice, pretty little ribbon on this Black Lightning saga. You know, sadly, in yesteryears, most shows wouldn't have been able to get that type of an opportunity. But you look at the ratings that went down last season for Black Lightning, lowest ever, lowest across the board when you compare it to all the other CW superhero shows that was out there. Last season of Black Lightning was very poor in the ratings. And as a result of that, that's why, okay, yeah, we'll pick you up for one more season, but that's it. We can't really do anymore. Now, unless they have some phenomenal, astronomical freaking numbers, which by the looks of the first couple of episodes, doesn't seem to be the case. If anything, it seems like it's going even lower, then yeah. But ratings, the quarter segments, the breakdowns, all of that does matter. Raw has been struggling. I'm sure some of you guys that make your rounds, checking out the dirt sheets, checking out the Observer and all that, you all have seen a lot of that information that's been in circulation where the USA Network executives, they're truly concerned about what's going on with that flagship show and Raw. And they want to try to do any and everything possible to make that show succeed. Yeah, sure, NBC and crew, they could just rest on their laurels. Oh, hey, we were able to strike this deal with the WWE. We got the Peacock. We got the WWE Network coming to Peacock. We got all of this great stuff going on, yada, yada, yada. But they're still breathing down, and rightfully so, given the amount of money that they're putting in WWE's product. They expect some damn good results and everything. You look at what's been going on with Miz and Mrs., and hey, look, pretty good show when it's all said and done. You look at the ratings for it, and, has it gone down just a little tiny bit? A little tiny bit, it's gone down, but compare it to Total Bellas. Total Bellas just continues to, you feel where I'm coming from? But you look at just about, 20 episodes that was released during the first season of Miz and Mrs., and they were averaging typically a 1 point and change million viewers. You go into the second season, you could definitely start to feel a little concerned about the second season, because with the second season, which consisted of about 14 episodes, they didn't even break a million. They didn't break a 1 point. Instead, they were cracking 0.43 billion or 0.40. They're in that 0 point range. You can't help but wonder, okay, when Miz and Mrs. gets ready to come back for another season, how exactly is that gonna resonate? Because you would like to believe that when Miz and Mrs. season 3 picks up, hopefully it's going to pick up with Miz as the WWE Champion. I mean, that would make a lot of sense in the world, would it not? We got a cameo here by the little lady. Thank you, honey. Wait a minute now. Before I let you go here, wait a minute now. You going to give me some cold beer and it ain't even open? I ain't got no bottle opener, man.
You didn't say open it, man. You just said bring me a beer.
Boy, can you please open it? Brother thirsty. Anyway. Hey, major news. Mm-hmm. Miz became the WWE Champion.
Oh,
what do you think about that?
I think it's a change of pace.
It's a change of pace, yeah. What would you, just casually looking at the WWE product, what would you make of Drew McIntyre's run in a nutshell?
Kind of lackluster. I know he tried, but kind of lackluster.
Did you guys hear that? She said kind of lackluster. It's like they didn't even try with regards to Drew McIntyre. It's like they didn't really try with Drew McIntyre. That is from not only a female, that is from a casual wrestling fan. Somebody that's not faithfully watching the product like you and I on a weekly basis, and we're ingesting left and right all the wrestling content that's coming our way. So, and you've constantly heard that same theme about Drew McIntyre as the champion over and over and over again over these past several months. Look, I don't want to diminish anything that Drew McIntyre has done for the WWE during these turbulent times, because these definitely were some turbulent times that we continue to be in. As I'm sure you all have seen, he's been dubbed the COVID champion. And, you know, that's kind of a fucked up thing to have attached to his title reign. But when you look at all the craziness that was going on, look, if you ask me straight up, do I look at Drew McIntyre as a transitional champion? Not at all. I do not look at him as a transitional champion. I look at him, and will forever look at him, as a world heavyweight champion that came at the right time that WWE needed somebody like a Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was the right champion to come along, not just because of what was going on with the whole pandemic, but also look at it from a positive standpoint, which is from this stance. Look at how we've been able... Thank you, my dear. You, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Let me take a quick swig of this. By the way, you're checking out the RCWR show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. That's good shit. I see what you guys are saying in the chat. Roll call. Shout out to Louise. Shout out to Steven. Shout out to Kelton. Who else we got in here so far? Shout out to Little Goth. Shout out to you. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else, but shout out. Those are the first few I'm seeing right now that's checking out the show live. So shout out to everybody tuning in live right now. But getting back to my McIntyre point, you know, with regards to the pandemic, he came at the right time. He was in the right place. Okay. Roman Reigns stepped out, and this was pretty much next man up. I mean, he stepped up at the right time for WWE. But also look at it from this positive standpoint, which is this, folks, which is look at the way WWE really went in here during this pandemic and embraced the hell out of all of their social media platforms, really engaging in the digital content even more, realizing and trying to capitalize on the fact that so many people were home, continue to be at home during this pandemic and everything. Okay. So take that a step further, you know, just outside of the WWE bubble. Now more than ever, YouTube, Google, we didn't think about it in years prior, but during this pandemic, as a way to try to stay connected with our friends and family, we've embraced these forms of technology, of social media, even more. So essentially 2020 going into 2021, we really found WWE going through some growing pains there and learning what they could learn, you know, with the whole social media and tech stuff and everything, and getting hip to the shit. I'm telling you, if the whole pandemic and all that didn't go down, I truly don't believe that the stuff that we're seeing with the whole third party, I don't think any of that would have been an issue for the WWE. I think it would have continued to a blind eye. I don't think, now I'm not saying WWE would have continued to be ignorant. I think eventually WWE would have got wised, but I think it would have taken a little bit longer, if not for the pandemic. So, you know, not for nothing, but Drew McIntyre came at the right time, and he was in the right place to be champion. But the ratings, the viewership just, you can only go and ride that ship but for so long before you eventually go, okay, you know what? It's time to try something new. We got to shake it up here. What can we do? What can we do here? And that's how we got to this point with Miz as the WWE Champion. So, look, I normally like to go from the top, work our way to the main event, but we're going out of order tonight. I always believe these days you go in strong and then you pretty much work your way in there. Let's pick it up. Men's Elimination Chamber matchup. Participants in this one. Let's pull up. I really didn't even need to take any notes here tonight either, by the way. All I really needed was the names of the participants in this matchup, and that pretty much was it for me. So for your Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre defending his title against AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Kofi Kingston. 31 minutes long. This pay-per-view went. By the way, Elimination Chamber overall, the pay-per-view started at 7 p.m. Eastern and it went until a couple of minutes after 9:30 on the East Coast. WWE, kudos to you. Anytime you can end a pay-per-view way before the 10 o'clock hour, I'll take it. I think many fans greatly appreciate that. Shorter pay-per-views. There's really no reason to be doing these long, extravagant pay-per-views, especially when just last weekend you did a pay-per-view, right? Just last weekend, it was NXT's turn at the helm. They had a takeover event. There's really no reason to follow up a week later and do a 3-hour pay-per-view or 3+ hour pay-per-view, so to speak. No reason to do all that. Be in, be out. You want to do a longer pay-per-view? Let your longer pay-per-views go down when it comes to your big four, your big five pay-per-views, basically. But 31 minutes, our Elimination Chamber match was for the WWE Championship. I remember during this matchup, during this matchup, it was so damn funny, man, because you had freaking Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was channeling just with his face paint tonight. He was kind of giving me a little bit of that Willow persona. Y'all know what I'm talking about? He was kind of giving me a little bit of that vibe going on there. Yeah, I was ready for him to come out and just... I was ready for him to just come out like that. And damn close. It seems like Hardy is getting closer and closer to doing that. And I know he said in recent interviews he's definitely interested in seeing if he could bring that persona out. He even talked about changing the music once. I don't know what he's waiting on now, but he talked about wanting to change the music. He's been wanting to change the music for the longest time. First elimination that came from this matchup. I'm trying to think who was the first person that got eliminated from this. And I actually, let me see if I got my, because I remember writing down just a little something, but I really didn't take notes like that tonight. I really didn't. I'm trying to think right now, and it's not really coming to me. Let me see. Did I even write anything down when it came? I don't think I did, actually. I don't think I did write any notes down when it came to this matchup. I pretty much was just going with the flow. Owens had a nice, good little spot there before he got ejected by Adam Pearce. I thought that was hilarious. You had Owens who... Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Again, this is all just top of my brain. All right, so I'm literally working off the top of my brain here. So if I'm getting anything wrong, you guys in the chat, I'm seeing what you're saying as I'm talking. I got you all right? But I love the spot where Sheamus is just left and right. He's just... No, it was actually Randy Orton. Randy Orton just left and right. He's just kicking ass. He shockingly got eliminated from Kofi Kingston. And you're seeing that, wait, what? Like, Randy, what? And I gotta tell you, this was the first time in a long time I went into an Elimination Chamber match where there was more than 2 participants. And with regards to the male side, this was the first time in years that I looked at a male Elimination Chamber match for a prestigious title and said, I really don't care about the participants in this one. And that's no disrespect to any of those guys. It's just there was just no one from that just, I want to see him as champion. Oh, so close to WrestleMania 2? Yeah, give me that guy. There was nobody. I was just indifferent. I didn't hate these men individually. They've done nothing to me. So how can I hate somebody when I don't even know the cats, right? So it wasn't from a personal standpoint. I know you wrestlers like to make your rounds seeing what podcasters have to say about you all, and then your feelings get hurt. You go on a blocking spree. I love all you guys. I don't know y'all personally, so there's no reason for me to hate you personally. But just, okay. All right, Lee, wrestling fan, who would you like as WWE Champion? Based off of these names tonight, well, there's really nobody I want. Sorry. Hope it's a good match, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's literally me tonight as I'm watching this main event match. But I love the cool spot there where after Kofi Kingston shockingly eliminates Randy Orton just flips the hell out and he just gives fucking Kofi Kingston an RKO. And he also gave Jeff Hardy an RKO. I mean, so he just leaves those guys laid out. And as he's getting ready to exit, you've got AJ Styles going quarterback. He's yelling at his boy Amos, or as I was calling him tonight, Hummus. I kept calling him Hummus. And it had a nice little thing that was going on the Discord as I was calling him Hummus. All of a sudden, AJ Styles started to his name started to become AJ Pita, and all of a sudden we were just talking food for about 10 minutes there. But yeah, it's silly like that sometimes. But yeah, AJ Styles running quarterback, telling Amos, "Hey, get me out of this pod. The hell with waiting until we see who's going to come out next." Both of those guys are laid out right now, and we got a little bit to go until the pod opens up. Get me out of here right now. Amos just breaking open the pod with his bare hands. I thought that was a nice little spot that they did with Amos. Again, Hummus. Nice spot that they did. I mean, he just rips the freaking glass plastic door sheet cover off. AJ comes out, cautiously looks on at Randy Orton, wondering if AJ is gonna hit him next, but Randy just keeps on walking. AJ gets in there, tries to pick up the sloppy seconds, but both men ultimately kicked out. And you're going, oh, okay, all right, well, looks like this match is gonna continue. Oh, okay, well, let's see what continues to happen here. At some point during this match, Kofi Kingston gets eliminated. And you're looking at that and you're going, look, with the exception of Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, just as far as if you want to look at your champions or your keep hope alive, you didn't really get that in this main event match, you know. So for those of you that were looking for the Kofi Mania 2, you know, that ethnic quota got squashed real quick in this one with Kofi getting eliminated, but you kind of got redeemed when you stop and think about it. I'll explain more in a hot second. So Kofi getting eliminated. So basically, who's left? Pretty much Drew, AJ Styles, Sheamus, so to speak. Freaking Sheamus, Drew. It's kind of nice how they had their little, how they had their little face off. Yet at the same time, it didn't really live up to the animosity that's been building up between these two men, the hostility. You didn't really get that whole, my God, this is a bloodbath. These guys are just gonna tear each other apart. You know, are we really gonna have ourselves a match here and figuring out who's gonna be the WWE champion? Or these two men, you know, now that they loathe one another, you know, how you feel where I'm coming from? You didn't really get that when it came time for Sheamus and McIntyre to have their little throwdown. You know, it just felt more like wrestling. You know, I that's probably my one biggest gripe out of all for this particular main event was just the way that had came off. Everything else, with the exception of Kofi, I thought Kofi was going to go a little bit deeper into the eliminations there. I thought for sure he was going to last a bit longer. Honestly, I thought Kofi was maybe going to be, if not final three, I thought maybe he was going to be part of like the final two. You know, maybe Drew and Kofi. I thought maybe it was going to kind of go from that standpoint, but it was what it was. Sheamus ultimately getting eliminated. I mean, McIntyre pretty much just going through all the men, just powerhousing, somehow figuring out a way to get over all the men. You're going, God damn it. There we go. Fucking McLeod McIntyre. That's my new name for him, McLeod McIntyre. Give me McLeod McIntyre versus Connor McLeod and Duncan McLeod at WrestleMania. There can be only one. There you go. That's the WrestleMania match right there. But McIntyre coming out, still your WWE champion. You're going, well, if you got the bitter taste in your mouth like me, all right, well, at least it was a short pay-per-view. You're about ready to change the channel. But then as you're continuing to watch, you're going, okay, we're kind of lingering here for an extra extended period of time. Something maybe is about to go down here. Sure enough, if you didn't change the channel, you were very fortunate because next thing you know, Miz, yeah, there was that run-in by the Miz, but it was the setup. Remember what I said earlier about that ethnic quota, but kind of getting redeemed? Lashley, just coming from out of nowhere while McIntyre was celebrating, jumped him from behind, beat the holy crap out of McIntyre, did Lashley. Lashley, unfreaking hinged. You're probably saying to yourself, if you didn't watch the pay-per-view, such ferociousness, the tenacity. Well, what the hell? Why is Lashley just... It was a good setup when you stop and think about it, because you got to go back to earlier in the night when Lashley was defending his United States title in a triple threat match. He was defending it against John Morrison and Matt Riddle. Now, sadly, Keith Lee was not part of that. Way things are looking right now with regards to Keith Lee, I don't know if it's a story arc thing or what, but right now Keith Lee is out due to injury, apparently, as he basically was removed from the pay-per-view. And this basically a storyline kind of follows up on the attack that Lashley did to Keith Lee earlier this week on WWE Raw. So kind of following that, you're like, okay, what the hell? The one and only pre-show matchup that we had for Elimination Chamber, we saw John Morrison defeat Elias, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet in a fatal four-way match. And as a result of that, he won the right to advance to the United States Championship match on the official Elimination Chamber card. So Morrison, again, taking on Matt Riddle, Lashley defending that United States title. Matt Riddle becoming your new United States champion. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. I was kind of under the impression that with WrestleMania right around the corner, that maybe Riddle, if he was going to have a WrestleMania moment, become a new United States champion or even a tag champion, I was under the impression that it was going to go down at WrestleMania. But then even at that, okay, so it happens at WrestleMania. Are you cool with that? I'm still not cool with that. I can't quite put my finger on it, guys, but the transition for Riddle on main WWE programming so far, it's felt a little bit of a bust for me. It hasn't really felt like a true success for me. Again, I just kind of have to go back and I look at the NXT run, and then I look at what I got. And if you were to really pick my brain and ask me, well, what do you think is really going on there with Matt Riddle? What's up? It seems like since Matt Riddle has gotten to the main roster, his character has been watered down even more. And I just don't like the way that's been coming off on TV. You know, he comes off like this big old brownie pothead that's just essentially walking around and just... And I saw more dimensions to Riddle when he was in NXT, believe it or not. Sure, he still had the whole laid-back persona and everything, but I didn't walk away feeling as though I was watching a poor man version of John Travolta's main character in Saturday Night Fever. You feel where I'm coming from? I felt as though I was watching the John Travolta character from Staying Alive. You know, it's kind of like, all right, you started off as Savage Hawk, now you're Smart Hawk. And, you know, on the contrary, with Riddle coming up to the main roster, you know, it's like he went from being Smart Hawk to not even Savage Hawk. He just went to, I don't know. You fill in the blank right there. I'll let you fill in the blank. But yeah, that's just where I'm coming from with that. So Lashley, you know, you felt bad for Lashley. You're like, damn, Lashley was on a good roll here as the United States champion. I've been very complimentary of Lashley within recent months, singing the praises, singing how much I've appreciated MVP, the whole Hurt Business, how Lashley has essentially evolved, you know, on the mic, in-ring persona. I mean, he's really blossomed even more as an overall performer, solid performer at that. But seeing what I saw tonight with Lashley losing the United States title, I'm going, what the fuck? But then it's redeemed by what we saw at the end of the night with Lashley attacking the hell out of Drew McIntyre. And it was a beautiful backdrop setup when you stop and think about it, because way before we even got that main event match, you saw one spot where backstage segment MVP is actually chatting it up with The Miz, and you're going, wonder what this is about. Fast forward and we get to where we are now. I got a lot more to say about the whole Miz thing too, by the way, because that was rocky. The start of it was very rocky. I'll explain more in a little bit, but Lashley beating the crap out of McIntyre, sets up The Miz. You hear The Miz's music and everything. He cashes in that Money in the Bank briefcase by himself officially. No Morrison. Cashes it in. Comes charging at Drew McIntyre. I think he charged at him with a kick. Tried to go for the cover. That didn't really do anything. Really wasn't even that much of a fight from Drew McIntyre. Honestly, after the kick out, I mean, it went by so quick. I just pretty much remember a skull crushing finale, and maybe there was a DDT in there as well, but skull crushing finale was kind of like the last thing I remember, and Miz pretty much becoming the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion that way. You know, stop and think about that. Last time that Miz was the WWE Champion, you had to rewind it back to 2010. And we all remember how that title run came to a screeching end, do we not? I mean, that was just one of those. And I still have the magazine, but I have a Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine where Miz had actually got the #1 spot. Like just top 500 wrestlers for PWI. He got the #1 spot, and he's on the front cover and all of that. Matter of fact, I might be able to show it to you guys. Let me see here. I might be able to show it to you guys if it's still in the same place. Let's see. It might not be, but let's see. I can tell you guys right now if it's still in the same place or not. Let me see here. Doesn't look like it. I'm looking. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's in the same place. But I promise you this, I'll definitely look for it tonight. And when we come on live Monday night, I'll definitely show it to you guys. Because I've shown it once before. But 2010, that was the last time that Miz was a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You know, you talk about a long ass drought. Y'all should know by now, if you're a longtime listener, how I feel about The Miz. As far as on the microphone, one of the best talkers. As far as the in-ring wrestling goes, I mean, look. You know, he doesn't do anything that's flashy. He doesn't do anything that's phenomenal. But as far as the basic fundamentals and all that, he puts on a pretty good effort as far as I'm concerned. He really rises to the occasion on the microphone and in the ring, depending on who the opponent is. History has shown us that time and time again when it comes to The Miz. So for me, 10 years ago was last when he was a WWE champion. And during that whole process, so much growth, so much maturity has come with this man. Yeah, why not? Let's see what The Miz can do as a WWE champion this go around. Sure, what the hell? What's one of the major compliments that I've given to The Miz over the years, if you guys recall? Hey, good steady hand. Need somebody to go on tour for WWE in this city or this state or this country? Miz is right there. Need somebody to promote a new show on Sci-Fi or pop up on... I don't even know what the hell they're calling the show now, but I remember it as Regis and Kathy Lee. You know, hey, get Miz. Howard Stern, hey, get Miz. Yeah, need somebody to star in your latest Marine movie or a new WWE Films movie? Miz is your... Any and everything. Miz has gone above and beyond. And, you know, for that, I think for all of those years of constant dedication, continuing to be a professional, staying healthy on top of all of that. When's the last time you ever heard of Miz out with a significant injury where he's gone for 7, 8 months, a year or whatever? Like, never. So, yeah, let's see what this guy can do this go round. I mean, the creative juices that can just come with Miz as the WWE champion right now, the possibilities are very unlimited. The main question is, though, are we going to get our money's worth that's going to really make this feud be very memorable this go round with him having the title? And then the other question you got to ask yourself is, okay, 46 days to go until WrestleMania. How, is this a done deal? Like, you got to ask yourself a two-part question. Number one, is he going to make it to WrestleMania? Still the WWE champion? And then number two, the other question that you got to ask yourself is, how's those numbers going to be looking now that Miz is the champion? All those quarter segments where Miz is out, how are those going to stack up? We're going to get a very good idea come Tuesday after this Monday's Raw is in the books. So we'll see exactly what goes down. And I see RJ is asking in the chat, why did Lashley help Miz? We also saw Miz. Yeah, I literally just talked about that about 5 minutes ago, RJ. So you just got to go into Monday's WWE Raw and find out. But obviously, The Miz and MVP, they worked out some type of an arrangement. And I don't mean an edible arrangement, but they worked out an arrangement. For all we know, maybe a scenario came about where MVP went to Miz and said, look, man, you know what? You got a problem. I got a big problem. My my guy, Bobby Lashley, former United States champion, he's pissed, he's fuming. Remember something that MVP has been saying for almost the longest time, though. MVP has always wanted, in some shape or form, to have one of his guys in the Hurt Business become a world heavyweight champion. Because in the Hurt Business, he wanted for all his guys to get the gold. I wouldn't be surprised, and it would be lazy writing if you went in this direction, but RJ, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the arrangements that was made was for MVP to provide an opportunity for Miz to be able to capitalize and successfully cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase, become the new champion. And if in the process of that, Miz would have to give Lashley a title shot, I wouldn't be surprised if MVP thinks for 1 second, Miz is he's got another thing coming. Yeah, Miz may say one thing, but it could essentially be the exact opposite. Or another scenario could be, we have a little bit of a business arrangement. We're scratching Miz's back, and in due time, Miz is going to scratch our back. I wouldn't be surprised if both of those are the most likely scenarios when it's all said and done. Not to mention, there's still a little bit of consistency that's going. Please don't call me sir. RJ, love you, buddy. You don't have to call me sir. You make me feel like an old man. Just call me Lee. Just call me Lee. People, when it comes to sir, I prefer calling doctors, those that serve in the military, law enforcement. I prefer giving those the designated sir or ma'am. Like, no, thank you. I don't care how old I get. I don't like being called that. Let's continue on, because if I were to just keep responding directly to questions all night, we wouldn't get through this post show. But where it's connected, I'll definitely, like, if you bring up a good question that applies to the flow of things, I will definitely connect. I'll definitely connect on that point. But yeah, so we'll know a lot more about the whole Miz MVP arrangement on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if it's all going to be just cracked open on Monday, but we'll know a lot more as we get closer to it. Hey, let's talk about how the pay-per-view had first opened up. Pay-per-view opened up with the official card now. Opened up with the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Universal Championship match that would happen later on in the night. Pay attention to this now, because this is where things get a little bit interesting here. By the way, you guys enjoying the post show? You guys are enjoying the post show so far? Make sure you leave those thumbs up, hit those likes, all that good stuff. Helps out tremendously, helps more people check out the content with these. Once again, shout out to the people that's watching via Facebook. I see we got some folks streaming or checking out the stream. Looks like via Periscope and Twitch. Shout out to you guys. I see YouTube. We're popping. Facebook looks like Facebook is kind of popping a little bit as well. So that's cool. That's cool. All right, first matchup of the night, Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Universal Championship. Daniel Bryan, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens. Where's your crown, King Corbin? Where's your crown? By the way, did you guys hear with regards to Metallica over the weekend? If I remember it right, they were performing on Twitch or some shit like that. They were performing their own songs. And apparently there was some DCMA violation that they got hit with. So whatever songs they were performing that was from their catalog, I guess Twitch or whatever, they didn't have the common sense to, well, this is Metallica, so there's no... And whatever music they were playing was automatically replaced with some generic bullshit that wasn't even Metallica related. Funny shit. Look it up when you get done with this show. I wish I was trolling you guys, but nah, I'm not. You know, for this opener to the pay-per-view, I had no problem with it. This was actually pretty damn good. Of all the matches for the entire card, I gotta say, this one I enjoyed the most. I'm not exaggerating. This match I enjoyed the most. To a certain degree, let me just look at the rest of the card real quick here. You know what? I'll even give an honorable mention to... I'll even give an honorable mention to the pre-show match. For what it was worth, the pre-show match was okay. It wasn't solid, but it was okay. And the triple threat for the U.S. title was all right as well. But for me, the go-to of all the matches, I would say check out first, if you didn't watch the pay-per-view, the first Elimination Chamber match for the Universal title. That one was actually pretty damn good. Great storytelling in this one without even really paying attention to SmackDown, because I've missed probably the last 3 SmackDowns. So I went into this really blind, but just looking at the participants, I'm going, okay, the winner is supposed to go on later on in the night, face Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Okay, well, Daniel Bryan looks pretty good to me, and Cesaro looks pretty good to me. The amount of love that I saw Cesaro getting tonight, a lot of people were pulling in there for Cesaro. I mean, we just all collectively, we just continue to hold our breath, and we just continue patiently. We're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. I don't know if it's ever going to come, guys. I got to be honest with you. I just don't know if it's ever going to come, but I hope it does. Like, if we're still here 2 to 3 years from now, and Cesaro has not had a main event match for the world title and become a world champion, I think that's the bigger deal, is that world champion. Your guess is as good as mine. What the fuck is going on? Seriously, your guess is as good as mine. But this was a damn good opener that I had enjoyed, as Daniel Bryan, and I want to make sure I'm in my notes here, because this one I actually did take just a couple of notes for this one. And if I have this right, I believe it was... Hang on here, and I can actually tell you, because I heard an interesting stat that went into... Yeah, I see the stat now. I got it. I'm with you all now. Okay. Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, they were the longest to be in this match. These guys went over 30 minutes. You know what I really had enjoyed about this match? And there were a small number of us that were noticing this. Take away Jey Uso, take away King Corbin, and you essentially had yourself a Ring of Honor alumni Elimination Chamber match. I mean, it was badass. You know, now technically, I don't know about you all, but for me, technically, I can just squint my eyes and I can just pretend Jey Uso is one of the Briscoes from ROH. I mean, that'd be easy for me. I don't know about you guys, but that would be very easy for me. Not to mention, as far as one of my dream matches, you know, a lot of people, they go with all of these, oh, dream match, yeah, you know, and it's kind of like, is that really though? Like, have you really been spending all these years thinking about what it'd be like to do that? Like, I kind of question that one. Like, for me, Briscoes, Usos, that's been a dream match for me personally for a lot of years now. I see such great similarities in both teams, and I'm hoping that at some point, somewhere down the road, those two tag teams can get together. I'm telling you, they would deliver an instant fucking classic. I could just picture Dave Meltzer right now. 7 stars! I can just see it right now. King Corbin being the first to get eliminated as he submitted to Cesaro. Cesaro had applied a, was it like a sharpshooter, basically? If I remember right, it was like a fucking sharpshooter, and Corbin didn't even last 3 seconds. I mean, he just instantly tapped out. I mean, it was bullshit. Sami Zayn was definitely the MVP of this match, He was the MVP of this match because he was talking such hot garbage. Now, look, one of the coolest things I love about WWE right now with this whole Thunderdome experience, CWC experience, and all that is the fact that your fans are virtual monitors. Yeah, you got your piped in, this is awesome, and all that other shit. You know, we all can be in agreement. Yeah, the audio, it's overkill, especially with the Daniel Bryan chants. Yes, yes, yes. You know, 1,000 fucking yes, yes. It's like, come on, man. That's too much overkill. Like, yeah, they get a little bit overboard with the audio. We all could be in agreement of that, right? But one of the beautiful things, the little things that I love about this whole dome experience. I like how I said what I love the most, dome experience, and like, I'm thinking dirty in my head there, dome experience. Ha ha ha! You guys can't see if you listen to the audio. You can't see what I just did with my hand there. It's like, that dome experience. Ha ha ha! But no, seriously. I love the fact that you can hear the trash talking, much like when you're watching your NFL or you're watching your basketball games right now, and there's like, really no fans in attendance. Yeah, you can just hear all the trash talk, and you're like, wait, did he just say what I thought he just said? And Sami Zayn was a prime example of that when you watch this match tonight, because Sami Zayn, I mean, you hear this dude. At one point he says, keep that guy away from my pod. Get away from my pod. And you're like, damn, Sami. I mean, it was just funny shit. And then when it was time for Sami's pod to open up, just the whole chicken shit heel. No, I don't want to fight. I'm scared. Weasel. Just weaseling his way. Very Bobby Heenan characteristic like Sami Zayn has been doing as of late. But I just loved his work that was on full display tonight. Pod door opens and he just pretty much no. He shuts that son of a bitch back. He's like no. He's like you ain't getting my ass. And I'm trying to think who came from behind. It might have been Kevin Owens. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it was Kevin Owens or if it was Cesaro, but somebody came from behind him on the other pod, because the other side pretty much had opened up, and they pretty much just start beating the holy crap out of him. I loved it. Sami Zayn trying to work out a deal with Owens. You and me, like old times. Let's put our differences to the side, and he still got his ass kicked around. I loved it. I ate all that shit up. Sami Zayn, he's really been doing a phenomenal job back this go round. I gotta say, how I miss Sami. I'm glad he's back. Truly, I'm glad he's back. So yeah, once King Corbin got eliminated, at this point you got Owens, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Bryan. They're your remaining cats. A little bit later on in the match, we saw Kevin Owens, as I mentioned, push Sami out the cage door. And it's coming back to me now, because Kevin Owens started doing stunners left and right. And one of the last guys that he had hit with a stunner, it was actually Sami Zayn. Stunned the shit out of him. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Get your ass out of here. You're done. And as he gets Sami Zayn out, next thing you know, fucking Jey Uso, because his pod ultimately got released. He was kind of in there for a hot minute, but he was out of the equation when KO was getting that hot streak going on. But as soon as he eliminated Sami's out. Referees are, they're about ready to close the cage door. Jey Uso takes control and he slams the door on Kevin Owens' hand. Kevin Owens still had his hand up on another part of the door structure, because he just got Sami out of there. And it was brilliant how they went about telling this story particularly, because once Jey Uso slammed that cage door on Kevin Owens' hand and pretty much had it wedged in between, I mean, he put a ass whooping on KO. Whooped him bad. Set him up so good, did the super kick on him, went to the top rope, did the frog splash, clean, 1, 2, 3, Kevin Owens eliminated. You're going, damn. You know, you're going, damn, because you just didn't see, you know, a clean on Owens like that. You know, you could kind of say there was a little bit of fuckery there, but anything pretty much could go. So the fact that it went down the way that it went down, you're going, okay. So that spot happened. From there, Cesaro. Now you got Cesaro, Jey Uso, Bryan. So now you're down to 3. Continuing on, Uso, Cesaro, Bryan are going at it. If I remember it right, Cesaro, Bryan, they were going at it for a hot minute. I mean, I was getting Ring of Honor flashbacks like a motherfucker when those two guys were going at it. Honestly, if you could have just given me those two guys for the rest of that match opener, I would have been okay with it. I totally would have been okay with it, but you know, we got to make sure we get Jey Uso in there as well. All right. Pick it up a little bit towards the end. Jey Uso super kicks the shit out of Cesaro as he's doing the Cesaro swing on Daniel Bryan. Good time in the way he did it, too. Kicks the shit out of Cesaro. You're going, okay. All right, so this is how he's going to do this. Oh, okay, cool. Goes up to the top rope, does a frog splash on Cesaro to eliminate him. Now, officially, your two guys remaining, Cesaro, Bryan, they're going at it. They probably went at it for like maybe about 2, maybe 3 minutes tops. Bryan wins with the flying knee to the face. 1, 2, 3. Bryan advances. Yeah, at this point, you're going, okay, great. So this is the match that we're going to have a little bit later on during the night. Okay. All right, cool. But son of a bitch, you know, you got to be thinking a particular way now, especially when it comes to unhinged Roman Reigns. Why not just come out now? Get the motherfucker over with. That's what a true heel would do. Well, sure enough, that's exactly what happened. You get the music of Roman Reigns. Roman comes on out there. You know, he is just smiling and just chomping at the bit. Can't wait to fucking get his hands on Roman Reigns. You know, just picture Roman Reigns' theme music in your head for a little bit. Just close your eyes and just picture that theme music playing for a little bit. I've got the lyrics to it. You know, like, you know how good. And you know, you just the lyrics to that. Roman Reigns, the man, he's got wet hair. Roman Reigns, his pecs are large as fuck. Roman Reigns, the women he excites. Roman Reigns, you know, like you can just play with those lyrics all night, man. But nah, Roman Reigns gets in there. And off the break, I mean, this match was officially on. Daniel Bryan did not back down. All right, showing that grit, right? That underdog mentality. All right, these are the odds. Like, this is what you kind of signed up for here, Daniel Bryan. Okay, I don't know about you guys. I was ready for an instant classic matchup between Bryan and Reigns. I was ready for that. You know, and this kind of was, but not quite what I was picturing in my head. Roman Reigns off the break. You know, once the match is pretty much officially on, charges at Bryan. I mean, he's looking for that spear. I mean, he's looking for the lights out. You're gone. You're done. Somehow, Daniel Bryan brilliantly counters this spear of his, turns it into pretty much a label lock. And you're going, man, could it be like this? Roman Reigns loses. Not just the Bryan, but loses that Universal title. Could it be? Roman Reigns powers out of that, though. Powers out of that label lock. And went on for just a couple of... I mean, this was a quick-ass match, guys. I mean, quick. I mean, if you went to go use the bathroom or go check on your food in the microwave and came back, this match was done. Because right after Roman Reigns powered out of that move, he pretty much had applied a guillotine choke lock. And that pretty much made Bryan pass out. Roman Reigns retains the Universal title, pretty much like that. Roman didn't get a chance to point at the WrestleMania sign, though, as out of nowhere, Edge spears the shit out of Roman Reigns to point at the WrestleMania sign. And from then on, we had the commentators off and on throughout the night telling us Edge challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal title at WrestleMania. Like, wow, we got all of that shit from a motherfucker pointing at the sign. You know, what happened to just eye for an eye? What happened to just, hey, this is Edge extracting revenge on what Roman Reigns did to him a couple of nights ago. But what do you think this means for WrestleMania? Has Edge essentially told us here tonight who his WrestleMania opponent is going to be? Or, you know, I wish we could have played around with that a little bit more. It just, because when you really kind of take a step back and you think about it as a whole, it was a little bit dismissive. How we pretty much did NXT. Great fucking matchup between Pete Dunne, Finn Balor, and everything, and it's like, okay, so where was Edge? Where was Edge? I don't understand. Where was Edge to? Because remember the last time we watched NXT, you know, and Edge wished both of those guys luck and said, hey, depending on the type of match that you guys have at TakeOver, may just make my decision, you know, in a haste manner as far as what I need to do, how I need to strategize as far as going into WrestleMania. You know, so you're like, oh, okay. And then to see that nice little crossover that Edge had with Killer Kross was like fucking badass. You got fucking Randy Orton just openly, social media and all that, telling Killer Kross, you know, man, come up to the main roster. Let's make some money. So, I mean, you got Edge, you got Orton, and it's just a beautiful thing that's going on down there with NXT right now. But it just came off so dismissive, what was going on from the NXT standpoint. You're just going, okay, so we can pretty much forget about Edge NXT at Mania. Okay. Look. Even if, because, look, I got to be consistent. I've always said Edge, Roman, WrestleMania. That's the way to go. Both guys, killer on the mic. That's a great little built-in little storyline you could do right there. Go with it. That's hot. That's fucking hot. Go there. But at the same time, I've also said, nah, you gotta keep playing. Have Edge make these little rounds on the other brands. Let him continue to do that. And then let's build it up. Okay, what's his decision? Let's build it up. So dismissive how they did NXT. You know, and then even to a certain degree, you could be like, well, shit, what about the Raw side of things? What about that? So the fact that we got what we got tonight, you know, I mean, it should be a no-brainer, but at the same time, it's, man, could we at least kind of played with the food a little bit longer here? You know, you know, it's like, I've got you 5 shiny little cars. Oh, cool. We got this one over here. We got this Honda Accord, and we got this T-Bird over here. And over here, we got you this nice little GTS, and which one you want to go with here? You know, it's got one of those type of deals, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's see. A couple more matches we can talk about. I am seeing what you guys are saying in the chat, by the way. Let's see what else we got here. Man, so we pretty much blazed through all the matches. The only other match I really need to talk about now is, we already talked about Riddle, Lashley, Unite. We talked about that already. So the only other match that we need to talk about, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, defending their women's tag titles against Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair. This match was about 9 minutes and some change. Look, all said and done, I was expecting a lot more sizzle and pop from this women's match. And I just felt I didn't quite get it. You know what it felt like to me? It felt like, tell me if this hasn't happened to you. Let's use a food analogy. Your significant other, they made you a nice bomb-ass dinner the night before. You enjoyed it so much, you come home, you're going to heat that bad boy up. You're going to have leftovers. Your mind's made up. You've been looking forward to it all day. Coming home from work, you beat. You want to enjoy that nice cold beer. And you want to enjoy that meal. Hell, if it's leftovers, it tastes so good, you don't mind it. Eating it for a second day in a row, you don't mind it. You put it in the microwave. All right, time to get down. You sit down, you got the fork and the knife, you're ready to go. And it's chilled. It's chilled. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's chilled. That's how this match kind of felt. It felt chilled, and I was waiting for it to warm up some more. You know, because not for nothing, these were some good girls that you had here. Some good girls that you had here. But, it just never got even, you feel me? That's what was kind of nerve-wracking about this one. That was kind of nerve-wracking about this one. I see David saying, should have stayed away from YouTube. I wanted to watch the kickoff show, but spoilers happen. No worries. Yeah, as I would tell anybody when it comes to a pay-per-view that you did not watch, you plan on watching, the last thing you want to do is be connected to social media. I deal with social media when I'm live in the moment watching what I'm watching, and I know I'm interacting with those that's watching it as well. That's why, if you guys kind of notice, that's why in most cases these days when I'm watching a pay-per-view, if you kind of notice, I've actually scaled back on my social media activity, particularly when I'm live with you all watching a pay-per-view in real time. Nowadays, I'm mostly DMing with fans back and forth, and I'm in the Discord and we're all just in real time just doing it that way. But if you're trying to watch a pay-per-view and you think you're going to be able to be on your tablet or your phone or and dodge sport, no, you got to have your mind made up. Okay, am I going to watch this? Okay, if I am going to watch it, when am I going to watch it? Okay, this is when I'm going to... Okay, great. Now that I've established when I'm going to watch it, now I got to make sure I leave the social media alone until after I watch it. I'm particularly the same way when it comes to some of my shows, some of my favorite shows that's non-wrestling related. I do not do anything on social media when I'm getting ready to watch my non-wrestling content. I will watch my non-wrestling content first, then get on social media, and I'll say a little something without putting a spoiler out there or whatever. But yeah, I think the days of spoilers and all that, I think it's out the window now, because I think it's kind of one of those deals now where once an event has happened, it's in the books. A lot of people just have that anything goes type of mindset. But I mean, God, why are we even tripping over the kickoff, the pre-show? First of all, it was only 30 minutes long and you only had one match. There really was nothing that, oh my God, I missed this one, the pre-show. There was nothing like that was, I mean, honestly, you can miss the pre-show. You're not gonna, it's not the end of the world, guys. But yeah, that women's tag team championship match, I was looking forward to get to that next fucking level, and it never really got there for me, which was really weird, because when I look at Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, I know what these girls are capable of. And okay, a match involving these two girls? Oh, and they just happen to be on the same team. Oh, okay, well, it's going to be killer fucking good. I remember leading into this pay-per-view, I chimed in as well as everybody else. I didn't really get a chance to officially say it here on the show, but this was, again, one of those cases where private messaging, Discord, and I was telling folks, I said, and we all actually agreed. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, does not make sense to have these girls be the WWE Tag Champions. It's not needed. if we're going to do a match where these two are going to be fighting each other at Mania for that women's title, all right, so be it, but we don't need to have them both become women's tag champions. That's not needed. Let Nia and Baszler hold on to those tag titles a little longer. And if you remember, I believe it was as early as Monday's RCWR show, I think on my own, unless somebody asked the question, I'm leaning more towards on my own. I had said, as far as the future of your women's tag division and all that, go back and check out Monday's show. I went into a nice little mini layout on, okay, this is who you're setting up to ultimately dethrone Nia and Baszler off them tag titles. So just go back, check out Monday's show. So, yeah, but it never got popping. So for me, I was really happy to see Reginald. I never thought I'd be so happy to see. I've grown a fond liking to Reginald. I really have. I love Reginald. So Reginald comes out. He sees that Sasha Banks is struggling a little bit, and he decides he wants to help her out a little bit. While the referee's distracted, he actually throws a champagne bottle into the ring and tells Sasha, hey, go ahead, take that. And Sasha, no, I'm not trying to win like this. What's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? Referee sees what Sasha's doing, grabs that bottle, arguing with her for a little bit. Nia Jax pretty much comes from behind. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Match pretty much over after that. Now you're going, what the fuck? It was a slop. I don't want to say a sloppy finish, but it felt like one of those unexpected, weak-ass finishes. That's the best way I can sum it up. Again, remember what I said just a couple of minutes ago? And the food analogy that I used. I thought for sure Sasha was going to kick out and that match was going to continue. And we were about to, all right, here we go. It's chilled right now, but now we're going to heat it up even more. Right down to the point, I was actually, I don't know if anybody else was anticipating it, but I actually was ready to see Carmella come out, get in Reginald's face, and say, what the fuck are you doing? I hired you. You work for me. You aren't supposed to be out here with Sasha and that other little hoochie. What the hell are you doing here? If you know what's good for you, I was ready for something like that to happen where Carmella, right down to the point, even Corey Graves on commentating. Yeah, I love, this was one of those rare nights where he's like, here's a little nugget of common sense for you. You even got Corey Graves going, well, he works for Carmella, so why is he even out here? And I was ready to see Carmella come out there and have a few words, but that never happened. And it was kind of one of those, what the fuck? Yeah, reckless, yeah. It was sloppy. It was sloppy and just, what the fuck? I didn't like that. It was, for me, it was a disservice to all of those women, because all of those women in their own respected right. Yeah, look, we bust Nia Jax's balls all the time. I tell you what, Nia Jax, she's a fucking pro when it comes to getting her ass. I didn't mean to say her ass, but in this case, no, she's a pro when it comes to getting her ass chewed out. She's a fucking pro. She takes it on the chin and she keeps right on fucking going. I'll say that much about her, but yeah, she fucks up here and there. She's a little sloppy here and there, but you know what? There are moments where she rises to the occasion, and all right, that was okay. That was decent. That was decent from Nia this go around. All the women tonight were actually decent in this tag match. It's just whoever was in charge of the booking for this one, it just... I can't believe this made the final draft. That's the nicest way that I can put it. This version should have been torn up, and there should have been a draft revision, and okay, where are we going here? Let's build it up a little bit more. Like, even if you were going to have Shayna and Nia still go over, okay, that's fine. But, let's really build it up here and let's really make sure, because this is a fucking pay-per-view after all. And what it really felt like in a nutshell, what we watched with these four girls was just, it's a piss break moment on Raw. That's literally how it felt tonight. And I never thought piss break would be associated with Shayna, the EST, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. I never thought, and to a degree, Nia Jax. I never thought, I admit, for a big girl, Nia Jax cute. And anytime I'm there. I laughed my ass off with I love that shit. And the funny part is, I didn't even catch it in real time. I didn't know she said that until the next day when I was on my way to work, and I'm just on my fucking Twitter feed, and I'm like, what the hell? That's what she said? Like, it went in one ear and out the other, but yeah. So we talked about all the matches here. So look, let's rate this pay-per-view overall. Overall, 6 matches. You got yourself a pre-show in there as well. You gotta rate this pay-per-view 2 different ways. You gotta rate the pay-per-view without Miz and then with Miz. If you take away the Miz surprise factor, I would say with regards to this pay-per-view, from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the shit, 10 being awesome sauce, I would say you give the pay-per-view a 5 out of 10. I can't go any higher. I cannot go any lower. I think that's a very, if y'all disagree with me, sound off. Again, this is the rating without the Miz factor. I have to give it a 5 out of 10. It's average. Not too low, not too high, just right. So I'm staying in the middle. Again, out of the matches, the one that stands out to me the most was the Elimination Chamber opener for the Universal title. Second honorable mention, I actually would give an honorable mention to the Fatal 4-Way during the pre-show. For what it was worth, that pre-show, it might have been about 5-6 minutes, some change, but it actually was a pretty good pre-show matchup. And then maybe I could mention the triple threat for the US title. Maybe. But in that order. Okay? Now, if I were to throw in the Miz factor, well, first of all, it ain't an 8 or a 9. I'll tell you that right now. Even when you put in the Miz factor, it's not an 8 or a 9. Factoring in the Miz factor, I would put the overall pay-per-view 6 out of 10. So, it depends on how you guys want to look at it. Do you want to look at it with Miz factor or without the Miz factor? That's how you kind of have to look at it. If you were to ask me, what am I leaning more towards? Miz factor, 6 out of 10. Can't go too high. Can't go too much lower unless I were to go minus Miz. Then I go 5 out of 10. So as far as pay-per-view, thumbs up, thumbs down. Ooh. Not a thumbs down. It's a reluctant thumbs up. I would say this is one of those pay-per-views, if you didn't watch it because you had work or whatever, the only thing you really missed occurred at the end. That's really it. Everything else, it essentially kind of felt like you were watching an episode of Raw, so to speak. It didn't exactly have that pay-per-view feel all throughout. Sure, you got it with your Universal Championship match opener, for sure. And yeah, you definitely got it with your Elimination Chamber match opener, although I don't know why. But again, for me, to each its own, but for me, I didn't care about any of the participants in the WWE Championship match opener. I didn't care. Maybe you could say it was a predictable card. It's funny, I say that, and I just saw literally now a message pop up from Reckless Pope. He's like, that's true. Most of the show was very predictable. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you could also maybe say predictable card. I don't really recall seeing that many people say Miz, he's going to cash in and he's going to be. I don't recall seeing that many people that were saying that on going into the pay-per-view tonight. So it's barely a thumbs up. It's barely a thumbs up. But I wouldn't, if you didn't see it, I wouldn't say move heaven and earth and you got to check it out. I definitely wouldn't say that. Keep your comments coming. If you guys want, while I'm on for a couple of minutes, you can let me know what you thought about, and everybody else know what you thought about the pay-per-view overall. If you want to rate it, you can do that. I know earlier in the night, Ramirez had said worst Elimination Chamber ever was garbage. To that, I always just say follow up. You know, if you're going to say something was garbage, follow up. It's funny because ever since I've been taking my classes and everything, one of my classes is an English class, and we just got done working on an essay that had, you know, built-in thesis and the points backing up your thesis. So now I'm always thinking in that whole, okay, you're saying this was garbage, you know, what's your valid points to back that up? So now I'm kind of thinking like that. Reckless Pope, I think Miz cashing in was a good twist. It was definitely shocking. Yeah, the fact that it was a cash-in and a successful cash-in as well. That's the other thing that was kind of like, whoa. You know, not only was it, oh shit, he's cashing in, but the fact that it was a successful cash-in. Yes, agreed on that. Some quick programming notes. I want to get into some Patreon shout-outs too. First off, thank you guys that's made it to this point in the show. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying yourselves. If you have been, please go out of your way. Hit the like, smash the like, leave the comments, all that. It helps out big time. Lets the YouTube algorithm team know you had a great time enjoying yourself here, checking out the post show. They recommend the content, the channel to other folks. So do that. If you're checking this out on YouTube live or on demand, do that. Appreciate it. Those of you that's going to be checking out the audio version on demand and the downloads, y'all know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, rating, reviews. Always helps out big time. Patreon.com/RCWR show. That's the place to go. Check out bonus audio, video content, exclusive content you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. $5 a month, man. Get you the hookup. Again, patreon.com/RCWR show. I want to give a shout out to some of our Patreon members, because without their kind contributions, content like what you're checking out right now would not be free, wouldn't be made possible. Mad shout out to Anthony DeBlasi. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out also to I Got a Burp. That's that good beer. Excuse me. All right, so Anthony DeBlasi, shout out to you, my friend. Also, shout out to Justin Ripstock. Who else? This is the alcohol kind of kicking my ass right now. Let's try it again. I'm going to get it right this time. Anything's live. When we're live, anything can happen. Shout out to Anthony DeBlasi, Justin Ripstock, Gino Morgan. Gino! Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to J.D. Davis. Shout out to Tony Bean Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix. Some new DL content underway there, man. He's got the tips, the tricks, the walkthroughs, the news. Check him out. He's on YouTube at Tony Bean Gaming. He's got a Patreon paywall as well at that same name, Tony Bean Gaming. Also, shout out to one of our newest sponsors. We're happy to have them on board for the next several weeks. Wishful Walking Videos. They're on YouTube at Wishful Walking Videos. Check them out. I love their channel. They shoot these great traveling videos in 4K UHD quality, and they've got excellent surround sound. And they're basically walking around the most beautiful parts in Los Angeles, California. hitting up all the most popular beaches. Look, with this whole pandemic, it's kind of hard for us to fathom the idea of traveling right now. Maybe it'd be a lot different if 90% of Americans got their shots. We're nowhere near 90% just yet. So if you're kind of feeling a little bit antsy like me, all you can pretty much do right now is work, home, grocery store, but you're pretty much at home and you need that mental vacation, that mental break, a little decompressing. Wishful Walking videos, they can help you out with that. This guy that's running the channel, he's pretty much uploading new videos daily. So there's always something cool. You just never know what he's going to be hitting up. So, and he shoots it in a really good first person perspective. So, think Fable. What's another one of those RPGs? Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. Kind of think as far as that goes. That's mostly how he's shooting them. So it almost really feels like, it's you that's on that adventure. So just imagine if you got the nice right size computer screen, tablet, or TV, and yeah, it's a good little mental break there for you. Monday night, we got a new RCWR show. Looking forward to that. We're going to be live after Raw goes off the air. So that should be fantastic. Tune in for that. That's going to be good. I got a light schedule this week as far as work goes. I'm only going to be in 2 times to work this week. The timing is good because work's getting just a little bit slow right now. Not to mention mentally, I could use the break. I had a ton of schoolwork that hit me this week. I mean, my homework this week, it was like double. So I just finally wrapped up last little bit of my homework earlier today before the pay-per-view came on. So Monday, we got a new RCWR show. Wednesday night, there will be a new RCWR show. The question is, will I get out in time? And the signs seem to indicate yes. So it's safe to say I'll be watching NXT and AEW this Wednesday, and I'll be talking about it this Wednesday night with you guys. We haven't talked about Impact Showdown in a couple of weeks. I've actually got a couple episodes of Impact on the DVR. I am going to watch those, and I will definitely be doing a new Impact Showdown this week for you guys. So tune in for that. That's going to be good shit. Facts. Do I think there was a chance he would fail once Drew kicked out? Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Drew McIntyre kick out? I could have sworn Drew McIntyre did do one kick out. If he did not do, I'm like 80% sure he did one kick out once Miz cashed in. Because I remember there was a kick to the face that Miz did to McIntyre. And it kind of feels like maybe he went in for a cover and Drew kicked out. Steven, if you're still on, let me know if I'm remembering it right or if you're remembering something different. But I could have sworn McIntyre did do one kick out. If you mean, okay, look, Miz hits his finisher, this is it, he hits the skull crushing finale, and somehow McIntyre just done any and everything, and dude's kicking out. Nah, man, I think the end result, just in storyline, still would have been the same. Remember, the ultimate story to that was being told before us tonight. Drew McIntyre overcoming, 4 other men, basically, to retain his WWE Championship. And the fact that you had such odds that were, and Steven is saying Drew did kick out one time. Thank you, Steven. No, he kicked out one time. Now, the fact that you had a deck stacked so high against McIntyre there, with Lashley doing this thing, and then Miz, and then, I just the way that was set up in storyline, it made all the sense to go. It made all the sense to go in that respected era. I don't think there's any other way you could have. All right, so you have him kick out. Now what? Now what? You know what I'm saying? Because it almost negates to a degree what Lashley did, what Miz did. You know? I see Little Goth saying Miz so epic. Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, when you come up out of this damn pay-per-view tonight, that's really going to be the selling point. It's just the fact that Miz cashed in. Miz is the new WWE Champion. And look, not for nothing. Just going forward, remember what I said to you guys with regards to the ratings. Remember Miz and Mrs. Look, if there's one thing I want you to remember tonight, I want you to remember the talk that we just had about Miz and look at the great numbers that he had for Miz and Mrs. season 1. If you can't remember, just on your own free time, look up the numbers that he did for that TV show in his first season. And I kept telling you guys, he was averaging 1 point something in US viewers almost on a weekly basis. It was basically enough for him to get the green light for season 2. Then you look at the season 2. I mean, he hasn't come close to cracking 1 point blah 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 million viewers since. So keep that in mind. And look at the last 8 weeks of Raw ratings. I'm going to have all that data collected, ready to go. Because from here on out, now we're going to start seeing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do one better. I'm actually going to do some research between now and when I join you guys Monday night. We're going to look at all the weeks that Drew McIntyre was the champion. And I'm going to do my best to have the quarter segments that involves him and all that. And we're going to see how it is this go round with Miz at the helm versus Drew McIntyre, if there's a significant spike going up or a great decline. We're gonna see what's going on there. Look, I'm rooting for Miz. I am. 10 years is a long time. It's a long time, because when you look at all the other titles that the Miz has won, I mean, not for nothing. This is what all Miz has done leading up to tonight. This is what all he's done. 8-time Intercontinental Champion, 2-time United States Champion, 4-time Tag Champion. Shout out if you remember his Tag Champions for that one. He was also a 2-time SmackDown Champion, 2-time World Tag Team Champion, Mixed Challenge winner, Money in the Bank, 25th Triple Crown Champion, 5th Grand Slam Champion, under the current format, 14th overall, 2-time Slammy Award winner. I mean, so look at all of that. Just look at all of that. And as far as World Heavyweight Championships go, well, wait a minute. Surely Miz had, World Heavyweight title. Surely he won the big gold belt. 2-time WWE Champion only. So, 2-time being tonight. He became a 2-time. So I'm hoping that he has a really good reign. I really, really do. A lot of us fans have been clamoring, chomping at the bits. This Drew McIntyre, he's just not doing it. Come on, we need something new. This is boring as fuck. All right, we got our wish now. We got our wish. Look, not for nothing, if fans were in attendance, this reign probably would have ended a lot sooner. It's very well possible. We'll never know. All we can do is speculate. But we kind of go based off of history, and history has kind of shown us to a certain degree, when the WWE fans were in attendance and at their most vocal. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm rooting for the man. But he's got a tough road ahead as champion, especially during these times. He's got a tough road ahead We'll see what happens. I almost forgot they did promote Bad Bunny, didn't they? They were doing all that on the damn pre-show. Bad Bunny, SNL, Bad Bunny, SNL, Bad Bunny. I got nothing to say about Bad Bunny until Monday night. So tune in for that one. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. And give me about a half hour and I should have this audio uploaded for you guys to check out, okay? Remember, Monday night we'll be live after Raw goes off the air. So, again, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, use keywords, the RCWR Show. I see and hear from you guys. I'm wishing all of you all to be safe and be kind to one another. I'll see you next go around. Adios, y'all.